Alright, it's time to review another movie. Let's go. You know, modern times are pretty disturbing. You can't go 2 minutes after waking without your phone and Reddit reminding you that you're up. Effed up, that is. And so is the world. Luckily, though time might head into some bad spots, the good thing about time is that it's always moving. One only has to look into the past to see how tremendously messed up stuff was and realize that we humans have made progress in some ways. So that's why we're going to look today into the 1960s. Whoa, morbid war footage on your nightly news, open racism and rioting in your hometown, and your favorite president stood a good chance of getting a one-citizen impeachment. Also available on home footage, strangely enough. In many ways, the 1960s resemble our own present decade here, and many who lived then will tell you that the 60s were the last time they really felt that the S was as close to hitting the fan as it feels now. But they'll also tell you that the 60s were an unprecedented time of creativity. There was new music, new dances, new TV shows, new stars, and new movies that were all bringing constant change to the decade and the people that lived in it. What was in before was out by next week. That's how fast things moved. So, if we want to escape the problems we face, much like people in the 1960s, I think we're going to have to go to the movies. So let's check out 1966's Beach Party musical movie and Halloween disaster, The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini. This is our ghostly ticket out of the problems of the 1960s that we spoke about and into a land of fun. Here's a clip.
Mr. Holt say follow Highway 52, no can miss Stokely House. Meet by train, okay, but what...
Whoa, that wasn't very PC. Okay, moving on.
If you just do what I say.
Okay, that girl's like 13. Why is she in a bikini and dancing around? Okay, well, maybe the next one will be good. What is that? What is wrong with you, movie? This is supposed to be an escape from the problems of the times, not the problem of the times. What the hell? Oh boy. So The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini has a lot of problems. I guess we'll just start where we always do, the plot. The plot starts out with a girl who apparently died in the 1930s, but uses 1960s slang for whatever reason.
Well, now, why don't you just get out of your nice little coffin and I'll give you the scam.
Confronting her recently deceased boyfriend as he rests in spooky purgatory. Here's the deal that she lays out for him. If this guy, who's a dead millionaire, can do one good deed before he dies, well, wait, he's already dead. I guess before he goes to hell or heaven, he gets a second chance. And doesn't that make sense? He's a millionaire. It's the 1%. They always get second chances at everything, even after they're dead. Great. Anyway, if he does a good deed, he gets to go to heaven and be forever young. That's the deal. Well, it just so happens his estate is being divvied up amongst 3 heirs. All they have to do is stay long enough to hear the terms of the will as they are read at the man's spooky mansion. But it turns out that the lawyer he has is evil, surprise, and is looking to scare them all so that he can take the money for himself. If there is money, no one knows what the treasure really is, but it's money. We all know it's money. Anyway, he's hired a trio of racist caricatures to come in and get rid of the heirs at any price. He literally says, kill them if you have to. And it looks like that this plan's going to work until a busload of beach partiers stage their own invasion of the mansion's pool, and a gang of bikers decide they want the gold too. I want the gold. Now, the dead man and the titular ghost in the invisible bikini must observe and intervene wherever danger lurks for the heirs, and ensure at least one good thing happens during the reading of the will. But can any good be done in a world where beach party movies exist? So, this was my first beach party movie while we're on the subject. I expected something goofy and wacky, but this was just painful. Flat out painful. Audiences probably knew this was going to suck when AIP decided to release a Halloween movie in April. That's how much they just didn't care. Here's your movie. We don't care. Happy Halloween. Whatever. You can really tell that they were on their 7th beach party movie here, and I'm serious, they were on 7 friggin' movies. They were at like Fast and the Furious levels of film at this point. That's how popular this stuff was. I wager that the earlier beach party movies were probably simpler and actually had something to do with beaches and parties, and thus they were easier to explain. Here, in Ghost in the Invisible Bikini, it's totally outlandish. It's like a game of telephone where you take a simple sentence and it transforms into total madness by people whispering it into each other's ears. Hey, let's do a spooky beach party movie, and then it turned into,
Oh, beach party movie, excellent idea! Oh, Batman, we're going to do something crazy!
That's what it was like. That's the plot of this movie. Why did the killers bring a gorilla? Why are these heirs, who are likely related, making out with each other? Why are all these kids appearing at the mansion of a recently dead guy to have a party? Well, that kind of makes sense. But anyway, who knows? Who cares? And these kids, ugh.
Young people today are a nervous lot. All squiggling in unison.
They're not squiggling, they're dancing.
No, that's not dancing. Michael Jackson dances. This is definitely squiggling. What is squiggling, though? That's just like, do something normal, like LSD or pot. Why can't you kids just be normal? You could see here how the film was showing you something that happened a lot in the 1960s. Something would come up, it was hot for 2 minutes, or it was intended to be the next hot toy Christmas item, and then it's gone. This is the 1960s in brief. Random fads that came and went faster than RFK's presidential campaign. So, why do these partiers lose their effing minds when they get rained on? Oh no, we're gonna get wet at this pool party! Now, the best part of this movie is when the evil lawyer reverts into a caveman and screams something at the kids. I mean, to this day, no one really knows what he's saying here.
Yeah!
But it's friggin' hilarious. I love it. And you know, as bad as these kids are, they aren't the worst part of this movie. No, that has to go to this woman's screaming. Oh my god, shut up. I was so angry when she wouldn't stop yelling like that. Is that supposed to be funny? It's grating. So random and ridiculous. That's the theme of the movie. There's lots of random, ridiculous moments that are more funny ow than funny haha. Why does this Indian disappear in this fight, by the way? Is this like an editing mistake? Is this like a supposed Native American magic trick? I know people used to think Native Americans were capable of all sorts of weird stuff, like they could put their ears down to the earth and hear a train or a stampede of horses coming or something. It's BS. I think that's what they're doing here, but it's just weird. It's probably something that happened a lot back then, and people were like, oh, it's that joke again. Ha ha ha, very funny. I get it, but I'm like, you know, Captain America here. I don't get most of the references. So, what about the scary stuff? Well, there's nothing really scary here. And horror, well, there's horrible stuff in it. I don't know if it's horror, but for instance, in one part of the movie, there's a mysterious, scientifically baffling, but totally theatrical choice of using one of the suits from the Eye Creatures from Attack of the Eye Creatures. Wow. They got monster suits from a Z movie and just threw them in here because why not? I don't know. All I know is that they really scraped the hell out of the bottom of the barrel on this one, when really they should have been wearing the barrel, because whoever made this movie deserves to be homeless, to be honest with you. Many of the cast members in this movie only appeared due to contractual obligations. Many of the other stars in the Beach Party movies refused to be in this. They were smart. Nancy Sinatra's in the movie. She plays a role that is... she's there for a hot minute. She does a song or two. Then her character's just ultimately forgotten, and she never reappears until the very end of the movie. And then like, oh, there she is again. Hey. I mean, maybe she realized that this was like a filmed disaster and escaped before she could be in too much of the movie, and I have to say, good for her. The Bobby Fuller Four also made their film debut here in this movie, right around the time they were making one of the top 200 songs of all time, according to Rolling Stone magazine, I Fought the Law. Apparently, they didn't fight their agent on appearing in this crap. Some stars were luckier, though. Buster Keaton was slated to play that racist Indian I mentioned, but he prevented his reputation from dying on screen by dying while the movie was being filmed. Best career move ever. That said, you didn't have to be present for the production of this movie to end up in it. The millionaire and the ghost girl that we saw at the start of the movie are frequently seen observing the film's events, and at times, those events pause so that the ghost girl in the invisible bikini can appear on screen, make a witty comment, and then do some ghostly action that strangely would have happened with or without her presence. So there's one problem with this. It's painfully obvious that these scenes were all added into the movie after filming was done. Research from Wikipedia supports this, and here's the story on this part. Apparently the producers saw the original version of the movie and were not pleased with it. Those racist Indian jokes, the monsters taken from Z-grade movies, the 13-year-old Italian girls dancing around in bikinis, none of this was working. Surprisingly, they could not make a good movie out of it. They couldn't make it work. They needed something more. So, they changed the movie title from Bikini Party in a Haunted House, very creative title, folks, to The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini. Then, they decided that the movie required the sacrifice of Boris Karloff, whose character is merely called the corpse in this film. A lot of respect given to him here. And they tacked on his bookend segments. Lastly, they filmed the producer's wife in a special effects bikini and had her appear in the movie about 80 times to make the movie better. It didn't work. I give the Ghost in the Invisible Bikini 1 the eye creature out of 5. Entertainment was supposed to be an escape from the problems of the age, like I mentioned in the intro. Not something that made you want to escape the theater. And really, I'm disappointed in some of the people that appeared in this movie. Mr. Karloff, surely you were better than this.
There are spooks loose all over my house.
Oh my god, Boris! No, not you too! No, the 1960s were awful. I wish I could make this whole movie invisible. Jesus! What were they thinking? No! No! Turn it off!
Yeah!